So I hope you've noticed that throughout this training, I talk a lot about 5:15, 5:45, which one works better for you. Notice that I never say, would you like to come in at 5 o'clock? I've got a 5:30. See, appointment times matter. And people are more likely to show up at the 15 or 45 than they are at the top or bottom of the hour because it's a more firm appointment. Think about this. Who's more likely to show? Someone who says, I'm going to be there around 5 o'clock, or someone who says, I'll be there at 5:15? See, when we can set appointments on the 15 or the 45, we have a much better chance of having the customer show for that appointment on time and keep that appointment. So we're going to set appointments for 15 or 45 after the hour. No more top of the hour, no more bottom of the hour appointments. So we've already addressed the question, what time do you close, earlier in this training session, but I want to address it again because it's an important aspect of the appointment culture. It's an important talk track to have because, as I said earlier, appointment times matter. Just as 15 and 45 matter, so does the time that we tell them that they can come in. Our chances of selling a car are greatly reduced if we let someone roll in 15, 30 minutes before we close. So our answer for our dealership is always going to be the same. Let's say we close at 9 o'clock tonight. Someone asks, what time do you close? We're going to say, well, we close at 9 o'clock. However, our last appointment for tonight is 7:15. Now I have a 6:45 and a 7:15. Which one of those works better for you? So what I want you to do is I want you to write down your last appointment for today. And if today's not a Saturday, also for Saturday, I want you to write down what your last appointment is for Saturday. If you're a store that's open on Sunday, write down the time that your last appointment would be for Sunday, and then be prepared to give that answer every time someone calls. So let's talk about some essential whats, the what to say if you want to truly have an appointment culture. Now, by the way, remembering your goal will help you remember this first group of essential whats that we're going to go through, because they're all tied to your goal, and your goal is what? An appointment that shows. That's your goal when you have someone on the phone. So one of the things that we're going to say, and it's my favorite essential what, and we've already said it a few times today, and that is, I have 2 test drives open on that Camry today. I've got a 5:15, a 5:45. Which one works better for you? See, that essential what is, I have 2, fill in the blank, today, one at blank and one at blank. I've got 2 appraisals open today, right? I've got 2 times open with my appraiser. I've got a 12:45 and a 1:15. Which one works better for you? And by the way, let's stop for a second. I want you to understand why I decide what time to say that I've got something open. I'm going to base that, one, on my schedule. If I'm setting appointments for myself and I've got an appointment in 15 minutes, I don't want someone coming in on top of that appointment because my appointments are going to show. But beyond that, let's say that I have an open day right now. Let's say that it's 10:05 in the morning and I'm talking to Mrs. Jones and she wants to test drive a 2013 Camry that she saw on AutoTrader. I'm going to tell her, I've got 2 test drives open on that Camry this morning. I've got an 11:15 and 11:45. Which one works better for you? Now, what if she's at work? What if you can hear people in the background and you know she's at work? That's not my concern. My goal is not to find out if she's at work or not. My goal is not to say something silly like what works best, morning or afternoon. Because when I do that, by the way, I lose control of the call. So I need to keep control of this call, and I need to just give her the times that I have available. Now, I have 2 test drives open on that Camry this morning. I've got an 11:15 and 11:45. Which one works better for you? Now, if she's at work and can't get away right away, she's going to come back with, oh, I'm at work. I don't get off till 4:30. Well, you're in luck, Mrs. Jones. I've got a 4:45 and a 5:15. Which one of those work better for you? See, I'm going to then try to pinpoint the time at that point. My second essential what, we've already talked about as well, and that would be, it would be irresponsible for a dealer to give you that information over the phone. This is an essential what. It's something that you need to put into your talk tracks that you use because that's our problem. A lot of times we give so much information that they don't ever need to come see us because we give just enough information to sell the other guy's car on the phone. Another essential what is, and sometimes this is tough for salespeople to say, but is simply this. My manager would be happy to answer that question for you when you arrive for your fill in the blank priority test drive. Now I have 2 of those priority test drives open today. I've got a 5:15, a 5:45. Which one works better for you? See, sometimes we want to be so helpful and we never want to say something like my manager would be happy to answer that question for you because we feel like we lose control. Well, no, you lose control when you give all of your information out. So let's be humble. Let's say that we don't have all the answers. Let's act like we don't have all the answers because we need to get that customer in for a VIP test drive. We need to have them do the perfect appointment because it's a better experience for them. It really is. And the final essential what that ties around your goal is one that appointment coordinators or BDC reps use all the time, and they should. And that is simply this. If a customer asks a question about a vehicle that you can't answer, you say, I apologize, I'm not a salesperson. I'm the appointment coordinator. However, I have 2 appointments open today with a product specialist. I've got a 12:15, a 12:45. Which one works better for you? So again, I'm not the salesperson, or I'm not the product specialist, or I'm not the manager. I am the appointment coordinator. However, that's an essential what. Now there's some other helpful what's out there, and these are tied more to the customer with them, right? The what's in it for me for the customer. If you remember the customers with them, what's important to them, then you can remember these helpful what's as well. So for example, let's say that we're talking to someone, we want to buy their Tundra, they're interested, but they say, I've never made an appointment at a car dealership. I bought 10 cars in my life and I've never made an appointment. Oh, great. Bob, I understand, but all of our appraisals are done by appointment only. All of our blank are done by appointment only. See, when you tell someone that we only do these by appointment, that helps them. It really does. So you say, well, I appreciate that, Bob. However, all of our test drives, all of our appraisals are done by appointment only. I have 2 appointments open today with my appraiser. I've got a 12:15 and a 12:45. Which one works better for you? Another helpful what, when someone says, I don't want to set an appointment, is we need to understand, we need to tell them, listen, we're not a typical dealer. We value your time. See, that's a with them for the customer, right? Their time is important to them. Now, you can follow up with a lot more. Another essential what is that, hey, by scheduling and keeping an appointment with us, we're going to make sure that that Camry's clean gas, parked out front, ready to go, so that when you arrive for your test drive, you'll be in and out in 5 minutes. Now, I have 2 test drives open on that Camry today. I have a 12:15 and a 12:45. Which one works better for you? See, when we tell someone we're not a typical dealer, and the second essential what on that is by scheduling and keeping your appointment with us, we tell them what's in it for them, then they begin to see how great this is, right? So we can talk about things like, we can even change it around. So Bob says, I've bought 10 cars in my life. I've never scheduled an appointment before. I'm not about to start now. You say, Bob, you know what, I can appreciate that, but all of our appraisals are done by appointment only. Now, we're not a typical dealer. We value your time, right? I don't know about you, but I don't like to spend 5 hours on a car deal on a Saturday. Our customers have found that when they keep and schedule an appointment with us, by keeping and scheduling an appointment, they are sometimes in and out in 90 minutes with the car deal completely done. Now, I have 2 appraisals open today. I've got a 5:15, a 5:45. Which one of those works better for you? See how I put those 3 essential what's together to respond to his objection that he doesn't want to set an appointment? So how about this, another essential what that touches the customer with them? Customer says, I'm not coming in until you tell me what you're going to give me for my trade. Well, we simply need to say, you know, we're very excited to give you a price on your 2008 Ford Taurus. We can't get those at auction. See, that's an essential what. We want to create some excitement around their trade, but then we want to go right back into the reason that we're talking to them. So let's say we were talking about a test drive on a 13 Camry, and the customer says, well, I'm not coming in until you tell me what you're going to give me for my 08 Taurus. You say, oh my gosh, you got an 08 Taurus. We can't get those at auction, and we're very excited to give you a value on that Taurus. However, only a trained appraiser knows what your Taurus is worth, and it'd be irresponsible to give you that information over the phone. Now, I do have 2 appointments open today for my appraiser. I've got a 4:45 and a 5:15. Which one of those works better for you? And the final essential what that we want to talk about that touches the customer with them is simply this, and it's around incentives. The incentives expire soon. So someone's interested in a Camry and they want to take their time. We need to make sure and say, no problem, Mr. Jones, but I just want you to know the incentives on the Camry expire soon. Now, I have 2 appointments open today that we can go over those with you. I've got a 5:15, a 5:45. Which one works better for you? See, those are essential what's that touch the customer with them. Next, we're going to talk about the how. And even though the what is easy and simple and the why is easy and simple, the how is the hard part.